Okay, so today we're talking about the choices we make, and we start making them when we're young, about taking direction, taking charge of our lives. In other words, at what point do we begin to realize that, oh, I don't really want to drift along with life until it's over with? I really want to step in there and begin to decide how I want my life to go. So it's an interesting chapter. He called it To Grow Old or Grow Onward. Have you had a chance to look at that chapter? So what last week's discussion pretty much ended up with the idea that nothing about us is finished until, we're ready to stop living. That's basically what being finished boils down to, is, okay, it's time to move on to the next experience in our awareness, in our consciousness. It's time to move beyond this physical incarnation, whatever that means, and, have the next experience. So we, as a being, not as a human necessarily, not as an embodied being, but as a conscious awareness, we're always changing and will always continue to evolve and learn and grow. And I know that, the experiences that I've had through mediums, for the most part, of connection with people who have left this life, they continue to be interested in what we're doing and what we're learning. And they are learning with us. They're observing us. They're saying, okay, so why on earth is she doing that? And, observing. So, their attention is not totally anymore in this dimension, but, they're certainly aware of what we're doing, are willing to help us, and are learning with us and from us. And they are also observing what's going on Earth and what's going on with the connections that they have at this point, wherever they are, and are still learning from those. So our, what we really are tuned in to doing is learning and growing, whether we're in a body or we've left the body. Why are you laughing, Lisa?
It's more happy than laughing.
Okay.
I'm very happy because I just read a note that I made on this chapter about changing and new experiences and new places and and in my life until I moved to Durham in 1988, I had not stayed in one place for more than 6 years. So it is like 3 years here, 3 years there.
My whole life was like that until I was in my 60s.
Yeah, and that's you know, it's like I lived in Durham for 19 years, then I moved away for 10, then I moved back for the last 3. So Durham is home because
Yeah,
of that.
right.
But the new faces, new changes, I really like change.
Well, we all do.
Well, I know a lot of people who seem to be very resistant to it, but I really
Well,
like it. So
it's fun.
it's what life is going to be change. So
Yeah,
you might as well enjoy it.
exactly. Right. Things are always going to keep changing. We're always going to keep changing. We just got to be aware of that. That is what the last chapter was about. And, you know, if we don't resist what is real, we're a lot happier than if we do resist, because resistance is painful, physically and every other way.
Also the learning and growing. That's pretty much all I want to do. I want to learn and grow.
Yeah, and play and have fun.
Yeah, but learning is fun. So,
Learning is a lot of fun.
you know, so I really like learning a lot of different things and
Right. And one thing I'm really enjoying about Living Peace Now is that we have collected a bunch of people who love learning.
yeah.
So it's a really fun group to have this experience with. It's really pretty awesome.
That's why the diversity is fascinating because of you learn from each other.
That's right. We learn from each other when we have more points of experience, we have more kinds of awareness to put into the hopper at any moment. And that gives us variety and delight. For me, it does anyway. And I have 4 sisters and I'm the only one that left home. So yeah, I'm aware of, and they have a depth of knowledge of the community where we all grew up, a depth of human knowledge and personal knowledge that I don't have. I have not, as you said, I haven't had the length of experience any place that they've had where we were born. So, their relationship with the place that I left is very different from mine. And that's okay because I've had my own experiences in different places. And it's okay, it's all okay. There isn't any one right way, which is fabulous. So, how about other people? Karen, have you lived in a bunch of different places or pretty much stayed?
No, I really haven't, except for the time that I was in school. I lived in Virginia and then back in North Carolina in different places. And I lived in different places in North Carolina for extended periods of time, but not out of state for extended periods of time.
Okay, so you have a depth of knowledge about North Carolina that the rest of us don't share.
Possibly.
Well, I mean, you've been more places and seen and experienced more versions of North Carolina culture than any of us, the rest of us have. Tasmia, how about your life? Have you lived in the same place pretty much all your life, or have you moved around?
No, I don't leave. I don't leave my place permanently, but I have a tendency to move around some places. For example, I went to Cox's Bazar, famous places of Bangladesh. It's a sea beach, and I walked there with my parents in the seashore. The place was really so beautiful, and I picked some seashells there. Seashells there, I picked some. So
Okay.
yeah,
So you've kind of moved around.
yeah.
Yeah. And
When
that,
I got free time, then I moved around.
my observation is that most of us on Living Peace Now have been the moving around kind of people. Because we enjoy different cultures and different languages. How about you, Kazi?
Okay, thank you, Professor, for let me know. Yes, obviously, from my side, that I want to say that I'm a very much a travel lover guy, and when I used to go outside my capital city, then I like to go. That Tasmia says about Cox's Bazar, the longest sea beach in this subcontinent. And sometimes I used to go there, and sometimes I used to go, and sometimes I like to go to another very beautiful or wonderful or some marvelous or some SQ site places, which is most not so it's quite it's quite a very visiting place, or is a very marvelous place, and with a view to going in such kind of these places, I remind myself that when I like to go this place or some kinds of places which is quite some quiet and some peace and some calm place and cool places, I find the relief in my mind. And whereas I find the relief, I find the the peace in my mind or in my metaphysical mind, which involves me such a very beautiful types of attraction or attractive places that I like to go in such kind of places. I remember that once upon a time I like to go in when I was a child. I like to go in outside my capital city or inside my capital city. I like to go in the where is some types of huge trees, and it's a like of orchard, not a jungle. It's a like of orchard, not a garden, not a jungle. It's an orchard. So in an orchard, I like to go in orchard, and I see this the childs are playing and they're playing in the orchard, and some people are enjoying themselves. And when I like to go in such kind of that places, I find the relief. I find the mind-blowing, exceptional ideas and thoughts in my mind, whereas I can think about myself that yes, I can think about the Almighty. Yes, I can think about myself. Yes, obviously I can be more active in my work. So these types of thinking and these types of the thinking works into my mind, into my brain, that uh, thinks me a lot about the universe, about the whole universe, like Almighty God, and the society and surrounded us, the people surrounded us. So I think myself that if one cannot but or cannot help going outside for becoming himself or herself in a very amusement way, in a very enjoyment way, so that he or she can able to be a very much kindful, a very much not be harmful or not be injurious to other ones, but can be helpful, can be kindful, and can be grateful to other people, so that the other guys can can be more grateful to that person, that which is most important for a person's life. And this is my opinion that I have shared with you.
Thank you. So for you, the way that you find novelty and new learning is going into nature, into different natural places, and being open to them. That's another
Yes,
way
yeah.
of traveling. You don't have to go far or go a lot of places to be a good, to want to learn and to have a lot of experiences that are different. How about you, Suleiman?
Hi.
Hi, good to see you.
Yeah, thanks so much. I'm really so sorry for the delay again. I was with the children. We are undertaking something, and we are preparing the Father Day for Sunday, for next Sunday.
Right.
The reason why I was a little bit late for the meeting.
Okay, so tell us a little bit what you are going to be doing next Sunday. This is interesting. He's working with Anne-Marie.
Yeah, exactly. With Anne-Marie, we are planning a wonderful day with the children about the Father Day. And we have already commemorated a Mother Day, and now we have to commemorate for the Father Day next Sunday.
What kind of day? I'm not getting that word.
Father Day.
Father's Day, right? Okay.
Father's Day. Yeah.
So these kids are celebrating Father's Day in Mali.
Exactly. It is a
You got me.
Suleiman, you have
Great
muted.
order.
Unmute
Great
yourself.
is-
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Are you going to broadcast something on the radio?
Yeah, exactly. Be on live with Anne-Marie, and that day Anne-Marie will be really busy. But anyway, we have our many other persons who are going to take it part, and the children are already enjoying and happy, and me also, and the mother also, the parents are also enjoying all. And we are waiting it with a big happy.
Wonderful. All right. Hello, Syed. Good to see you. Okay, so let's go back to the lesson. So Butterworth's question is, are you growing onward? Are you continuing to grow and learn? Or have you stopped? And the deeper question is, are you directing what happens in your life? Do you have a goal that you're working toward, a vision that you want to experience? He says that a lot of people have not learned to live from the inside out, and they're just being pushed along by what happens next in life. Age, he says, is basically psychological, not physical. It does have a physical component, of course. But have you noticed that some people are a lot older than other people at the same ages?
Mhm.
That some people just seem old and some people seem young, no matter how old they are. Have you noticed that?
Yes.
Yeah, as we ourselves grow older, one of the first things that I remember when I was in my 50s was, oh my God, a lot of people are really old when they're in their 50s. What does that mean? They're really old. They think they're old. They feel like, okay, I'm done. I don't have to do anything anymore. That's it. And I can tell you that people who do that, they die a lot younger than people that keep living purposefully and living alertly and consciously. Somebody studied people that were over 100 years old, and I think I put that in the slide here somewhere. And all of them are still learning and still engaged in, making a difference and whatever it is that's their way of learning and participating. Anybody that's in their 90s or 100s and is still, kind of young, that's how they're doing it. Anybody that kind of stops living as an adventure, it kind of goes, okay, I'm done. I don't have to do anything else. They're done a lot younger, which is okay. We all have our own life to live. But I know that one of my younger sisters died in January. She was done. She was happy to die. She got COVID, she said good. And she died from it. And was like, wow, okay. I don't feel that way yet, but it was a surprise. And I had to really work to understand it and to understand where she was coming from. So being old isn't all physical. All of us will leave our bodies at some point, but that can be anywhere from age 45 even younger, to age 105. There's a lot of years in between there. There's a lot of learning, there's a lot of adventure. And, it's up to us, really, what we want to do with that. It's not better to be any given age. I know that as we generally celebrate birthdays in the US, after a certain age, most people don't want to have a birthday, right? Because it's like, ooh,
Yes, but I want to have my birthdays. I've earned them.
that's right, exactly. It's all in how you look at it.
Yeah.
But it's interesting when I look at my whole life, how I thought about birthdays, because there were a lot of things when I was a kid they wouldn't let me do until I was a certain age. So that conditioned me to look forward to birthdays and to consider them levels of liberation. There's no age that's better than any other. We're all invited to stay in the flow, keep moving, to keep living, to keep learning, to keep changing, to keep growing in power and awareness. And I'm becoming more and more aware that, in a way, everybody is living in a fairy tale, really. There's a beginning, and there are adventures and there are challenges, and the way we overcome the challenges is by discovering, by building, by growing new powers in ourselves. And that's basically the challenge of life, for us to become powerful beings. We are powerful beings. It's in us to be a powerful being. But we don't necessarily always start out thinking or being encouraged to think that we're powerful beings. it's very interesting how, you know, I know that I still have conditioning from childhood where people told me, who do you think you are? You know, why do you think you can do things that other people can't do? Well, I've had to learn because those are the things I am driven to do. Those are the things that are mine to do. And I need to develop the ability to do them. And whatever anybody told me about, you know, staying little, staying silent, staying weak, staying invisible, that might have been their life channel, but it wasn't mine. And here, at least in the US, there is a cult of youth. I do not know how true that is in other places. But there is a point where many people think, oh, somebody's old. I'm not going to pay attention to them. They haven't got anything to tell me that's worthwhile because they're old. Actually, the more I get to know old people, more interesting I find them because they've all got stories and they've all learned ways of living from the inside and doing what they needed to do in their lives. And it's really interesting, I find, to, you know, to share a challenge with an older person, although that's getting harder and harder to find, or even a much younger person, and to hear the viewpoint, the different viewpoint. It's enriching. So, you know, those of us who are Americans at least occasionally think about, okay, how old do I look? How can I look younger, right? Isn't there a kind of magic in youth here? People like people who seem younger. But it's not all about faces and appearance. It's also depth and personal power. And one thing I've become aware of over just in the last few years is how much our life expectancy has increased worldwide. In 1910, you know, 110 years ago, the average person, the average length of life was 41, age 41, which meant that half of everybody died younger than age 41. And anybody who got to 50 was old. By 1945, the average was about 60. If you got to 65, you were really old. Now it's approximately, it's in the 70s. But the most amazing statistic is that the fastest growing population segment now are people over 100. That group of people is growing faster than any other group now in the world. Okay. So even, you know, my life as compared to my parents' lives, when, I mean, most of my relatives didn't live to my age, which is early 80s. And they certainly weren't healthy enough and strong enough to do much in the last 10 years. But the people that I know now who are really doing big things in the world and making a big difference. Often they're in their 70s and 80s. That's a big change. So you guys who have graduated from university, that makes sense with a longer life. But if your life expectancy is 40, it doesn't make sense because it takes up a lot of your young years, your time when you would be, you know, raising a family, making a living. And then that was it. A lot of times from infection, from disease, from things that medicine has helped to increase. So, you know, as I work with you guys in Living Peace Now, so many of you are young college graduates, and your life expectancy is longer than, way longer than in your grandparents' generation. And so I would bet that many of you are the first people in your family to be university graduates. Is that true?
Yes, Professor. Likewise, you are saying that my parents are graduates too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, my father is an engineer and my mother is a psychologist.
Okay.
So my mother knows better about the human psychology and the child psychology also, especially about the human psychology. Yeah.
Okay, so good. So your parents were in the vanguard, the front lines of their generation. Were your
Yes,
grandparents university graduates? Did your grandparents have university degrees?
Yes, Professor. My grandparents, my grandfather was a government officer, and he graduated from Calcutta at the Islamia College under Calcutta University, and from accounting. And my grandmother also a graduate from the Bangla language, Bangla.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you've got a real heritage there. That's amazing.
Yeah, thank you, Professor. Yeah.
How about you, Karen?
You know, I was thinking about that, and I think that I am the first
Mm-hmm.
in my family, because my grandparents definitely know. My parents didn't. So it's me, you know, and it's interesting because I just thought about that recently. You know, we had never discussed that or anything.
Right. Yeah, I have one sister, and I are the first ones in our family to have graduated from university. Suleiman, how about your family? You're muted.
Yeah, thanks so much. Also, so my father is a farmer, and my mother work at home. That means she is a housewife, and there also the activities what we are doing is just growing on the farming. It is the work. But me, God thanks, Papa try to help me by studying. Yeah, to come to the town to continue my study here. If not, they are all in the village.
Right. Yeah, so you're pretty much first generation university.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Tasmia, how about you?
Personally, ma'am, my father is a government employee. He's also graduated from accounting, and my mom is a college teacher, and she's also graduated. Graduation, and now I am doing my graduation. My uncle also graduated from graduated at English literature.
Okay.
That's it. And my grandfather was graduated. My grandmother was not graduated. She is just a housewife. That's it.
Okay, very good. Okay, so actually, you guys are from relatively privileged families. And that's,
Yeah,
True that.
Professor,
yes,
sorry for interrupting. In my area, most of the people like to say of us that you are sent out the privileged family, but most of the people in our area says that we are the sahibs because
You-
we are the Kaji family. Okay, so we are the Kaji. So
Yeah.
we have the designation of our family, the family surname, right?
right. Yeah, exactly. Interesting. That's all. As I said, you know, we have more and more time compared to people 100 years ago, 200 years ago, 300 years ago. And if you go way back into the Middle Ages, anybody that got over 30 was old. So, you know, human life has gotten way longer. And we have way more possibilities today because of that. So Butterworth's idea, we talked about birthdays. Butterworth's idea, I like it, is we should count as our birthdays the dates when we have birthed, brought about creative new ideas. So in other words, our children are not, the children that we create physically are not our only children, that our ideas that come into fruition and change how people do things are also worth counting. And he also says that you shouldn't give all the celebration for birthdays to the children. And I've always thought this, that every time my daughter has a birthday, I think I should be celebrating, you know, because that was an amazing, life-changing moment for me when she was born. And yes, I have birthed other ideas that I don't normally give myself a lot of credit for, but it would be worth celebrating things that I've brought into fruition because they are the fruit of my creative energy, along with other people. And that's the other important thing to be aware of, that the better we align with the mastermind, which is other minds, other people, other energies, the more effective we are in creating powerful, lasting ideas. So instead of just, you know, going along from one, you know, life stage to another and, you know, getting your first job, getting married, having kids, getting promoted, getting another job maybe, eventually retiring and becoming a grandparent, things that most of us end up doing. What else? What do you want to see in your life happening? What milestones do you envision? What are you going to make happen in your life?
First of all, I would like to say that because in this modern age or in this modern world, no one in this world has their own aim, because in this world nobody has their aim or has their goal, because we are sorry, we are going forward, and we are going step by step. So
You're right. Nobody knows what's going to be happening in 20 years.
yes, obviously.
Absolutely.
So no, let me finish. Let me complete. So this is the main reason. But in my grandfather's age, or in my at my own father's age, they have their own goal. They had their own aim. Because my father is an engineer, my grandfather was an was graduated from accounting and was a government employee, and but in my age, in my modern age, now I am a Notre Damean, and I am now studying in Notre Dame University. But the most of the students, now let me explain about my friends. I have asked to my friends that what is the aim of their life? What is the future of their life? What is the main goal? What is the main purpose of their life? Most of them have been said that we have no goal, we have no aim. So instead of having no aim, or having no goal, so this is the main reason. So I am the main point that I want to say, that the main reason is that I have but in this life, in this transitory life, I have my own goal, or I have my own aim. But the main thing is we are human beings. So the main thing is we are the human beings, and we must think about the welfare of the society, and we must think about uh, the welfare and the good things and the positive things of the human being, which is most important for the welfare of our society, as well as the whole nation, and as well as the other countries also. And we have to work simultaneously. And
And
if
what do
we
you
work,
want to do?
oh no, yes, okay, I want to do that. Now I am a undergraduate student. After completing my graduation, I have a aim. I have an aim myself, but I don't want to say right now because it's a secret. And because of not saying not saying the secret, so
Why is it a secret?
Yeah,
yeah,
Why?
yeah, it's
yeah.
yes,
I
sorry.
wanted the secret.
Secret, I don't understand very well, Hamid, because I mean, saying you what you need, what you want to reach as aim is not cannot be a secret, because you have to secure with another person, or this last one can imitate you. That I hope that cannot be a big pleasure to know, maybe.
I agree. You know what? If you keep it a secret, you're not getting any help from anybody, and we all need help.
No,
Exactly.
professor, no. Just understand my words that I want to say to you. That
Okay.
no, obviously I have an aim, or I have a goal,
Good.
or so in order to pursue an excellence in my future, right? So which is most important in my career, that I want to build up myself. So it's a so there are some types of people, they don't want to say. So I am that kinds of people that I don't want to say by my side. So it's a secret, but like you, my professor, I want to say that I have a great intention to be a teacher, or to be like a professor, like you, or as you. So in future, now I'm a student of English language and literature, studying at Notre Dame. So, and now I am studying in a Catholic university. My Catholic university has an aim to build up the students in a very good career, to build up their career at a very good, inspirational way. So
Yes.
in these types of condition, I want to say that I have a lots of dreams. I have a lots of intentions. I have a lots of desires. But in order to fulfill the desires, I want to say that one of the most important desires and one of the most important intentions that I want to share with you, that being, as you are professor, I have a great intention to be a professor and to teach the poor people in my country, as well as I have a great desire to go abroad or in overseas country and to mix up with the overseas people and to build up a very good career with my overseas friends. And I think that by the grace of Almighty, and if I try myself, if I try myself the best, and if I give the best attempt in here, then I will be obviously become succeed in these types of step. So
Right.
I think that being a student of English literature, I have an intention to be a teacher in my career. Thank you.
Okay, great. Yeah. Whew.
Thanks so much, Hamid. Yeah.
Yes. So
Yeah. So
how about you,
let me.
Suleiman?
Yeah, exactly. Thank you so much, Hamid, again, for what about your career and what you wanna be in the future. It is really a wonderful thing because before that is my first aims, my first dream, and it is I'm living also this dream is to be a teacher, teaching, helping, and work with the children. So now, my aim, my objective, or my dream is simple, clear, and direct. What is it? To be a teacher, work with a children. But I want to be a teacher. Why? Exactly, I want to share my experiences, what I have learned with another person, help them to overcome their own problems and build a humanity. Because teacher means build another person to be someone or something. Here we are learning many things, a lot of things. Since we began these classes to today, me personally, many things have changed here in my own personality. And that is my aims, that is my objective to do like this. And it is that I'm doing with Raja Chiko, that we are giving peace, love, and happy to the children. So
Excellent.
Hamid, you have a wonderful career. Go ahead, think like this, work like this, and have a big love for someone. Because teaching means love someone like you love yourself. What my big teacher, Rosemary, is doing is like this. Listen everyone, being with everyone, be patient with everyone. It is like the important thing in teaching life. Good
Yes.
luck. And I am in it. Am I welcome in our society? A big one stinks.
No, obviously, I want to say, I want to add another point in here that being a member in Living Peace Now organization, being a member in this Living Peace Now organization, we, sorry, I basically, me myself, to be with our honorable professor Rosemary,
Yeah.
then Karen, then Lisa, and our
Lisa,
teacher
yeah.
Sabrina. Then I think that obviously I can learn lots of positive things and lots of essential things and lots of vital things, which is most important for not only in our career but also for building up our own
Personality.
base in obviously. So I think that being with a great participant in this Living Peace Now organization, and I believe to our professor Mrs. Rosemary Hyde, that I have learned a lot, lots of important things to from our professor. And not only her, but also from my Notre Dame University, there are some professors, assistant professors, some associate professors, and some our honorable teachers in our English department. They also teach us lots of motivational things, which motivates not only me but also the other two students in their mind for building up their career to go in abroad or overseas country to mix up with the overseas people and to pursue a higher degree from the abroad or from the outside country. So which is most important for a person to building up his or her own career in a very conceptual style. So I think that from our professor and our other Notre Dame University teachers, they have teachers, not only me but also the students, and we get the lots of facilities and lots of advantages from them. So not only that I'm saying about my university, but in for becoming a participant in this Living Peace Now organization, I want to say that thanks to Professor Rosemary, and thanks to also to teacher Sabrina and others that has guided us a lot in the on building up and in our spoken English and our in our fluency in English, which is most important for a person to building up his or her career in this world. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So Tasmia, how about you? What's your aim? What do you
Ma'am,
see?
I want to specific some things from LP Now. I have learned how to communicate in English, how to spoke in English fluently. That is what I learned from LP Now and from you, from Sabrina ma'am, from L'Oreal ma'am. And I want to be an English teacher in future, as I'm doing my graduation undergrad now, English language teaching. So I want to be an English teacher, and I love language. So that I joined that group, and that is the reason I want to be a teacher of English. And another thing is that I want to build my own nursery or a garden in my balcony. That's it.
Okay, thank you. So Karen, how about you? What do you see yourself doing as we go forward?
Interesting, as I'm older, you know.
I know.
There's still so many things I'd like to do, and it seems to come in experiences from one day to the next, rather than accumulating and getting another degree or taking a cruise around the world or anything like that. It's just a daily experience. I do really pine for bigger projects and more meaningful, purposeful, long-term things to do. And, you know, I'm always open for that. Always open.
Okay. Lisa.
Well, I've been a mother, a student, a teacher, a preacher, and now I'm going to find some other helping profession to continue, because that is who I am.
And that's where the fun is.
Yeah, and I will keep learning and keep sharing, because it's fun. And I'm currently studying Reiki, which is an energy healing force. So that's present in everybody already in the universe. So hopefully I will get to use that for something. I'm studying at the master level now. So
Awesome.
yeah, so I'm hoping that I can do that. But that won't be the only thing that I do. That'll just be one facet of what I do.
As you get further along in the master level, when you feel that teaching is something that you might want to try out, we would be very happy to invite you to teach some basics of Reiki on Living Peace Now.
Reiki is really, I've become very fascinated with it because it mixes all kinds of Eastern philosophies
That's right.
and
Yes,
universal philosophies that are
exactly.
really helpful to
Yes.
it gives you a way to think about things that you wouldn't think.
And it's an empowering
Yes,
way to grow
yeah,
and
and
to be in
it's
a
very
situation.
nice because it is universal in that
Mhm.
all living things have that energy in them or they wouldn't be living. So,
Exactly, right. And that's one of the basic things that we all need to realize, that we have that energy in us,
right.
and that is part of our power. I'm reading a fantasy novel now, which sounds totally crazy, except this is the third story by this one author that I've read, and I am beginning to understand through reading these stories how our lives are all about magic.
Right. It's all, everything's connected.
Yeah,
You can't separate no matter how hard you try. So,
exactly. So it's from a different angle, but it's really teaching me an important new way of looking at things that I didn't expect.
Professor, it can be said that life is full of blessing and fantasy, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
and challenges.
Yeah, obviously. And
What
full
about-
of struggle and full of struggle.
I think a very important word that I've learned to do is to play, to create in you a place where the child in you can continue to create, because that's where your creativity comes from, the
Yeah.
original seed that was in you.
As far as anyone can tell, life is really supposed to be fun. We're supposed to be having a good time.
Yeah.
And the best time that I've ever had has been in teaching, in sharing, in, bringing new ideas to people. Because I love the ideas and I love to talk about them, and I love having other people resonate with the same ideas. And
So I've had opportunities to teach preschool children and college students, and you learn as much from your students, no matter how old they are, as you teach them. So
yes,
it's
and
fun.
I've taught old people who are in nursing homes and learn from them.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, you learn from whoever you teach and open to learning from. And it's exciting. It's real. It's happening. So, yeah.
Rosemary. Oh,
What? Go ahead. Go ahead, Kim.
I was just going to ask you what is the book you're reading? It intrigues me.
Okay.
What it might be.
She's written a lot of books. It's a female author. Her name is, I'm going to have to look it up. And they're fascinating. The struggle between good and evil is, good always wins, but that feels right. And that's true in life. When you come right down to it, love always is the end of the story. So how that happens is just fascinating. Like I said, I did not expect that I would be learning that. It's called, the one I'm reading now, one I just finished, is His Majesty's Dragon.
I like the title.
Yeah.
And her name is Naomi Novik, Novik. And I've read 3 of her books now. She's written close to 20. The first one I read was Spinning Silver. And it was, it was in a Slavic country. She comes from Poland. Her parents are from Poland. She knows a lot of Polish fairy tales. And these were, her own version of the fairy tales. I couldn't put them down. So Spinning Silver was the first one. Uprooted is the second one, also based on Polish fairy tales. And the dragon one, I have no idea where she got it from, but wow. So what a great story. And like I said, I guess because what I'm really thinking about a lot is, the whole bit about how do we become and how do we learn? And when the people in these stories are creating magic, it's a process. And ultimately, it's the same process that I'm learning to use power. What is power if it isn't magic? It's the same stuff. And so these books are giving me totally made up but real models for creating magic.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah. So I don't know what drew me, but as soon as I saw the cover of the first book I read, I had to get it. I had to read it. And then after I read the second one and had the cumulative effect, I thought, oh my gosh, this is really metaphysics.
I will find those.
Yeah. Naomi Novik. I can't remember her name very well, but she is very good.
Professor.
Yeah.
Have you heard the name of poet John Donne?
John Donne, yeah.
Yeah, he was
A metaphysical
greatest
poet. Yes.
Yeah, metaphysical poet, right?
Right.
Yeah.
You're studying English language, English literature. So
Yeah.
have you studied him?
Yeah, I know about Alfred Tennyson, William Butler Yeats, then Robert Frost, then Elizabeth Browning, then Emily Dickinson, then John Donne, then William Shakespeare, so obviously William Shakespeare, then sorry, then John Keats, then Percy Bysshe Shelley, and etc. There are lots of poets I have studied.
Studying poets,
Yeah,
they also are tuning in to metaphysical awareness. So that's another way of learning this. It's very, it's kind of universal. It's every place. And it's
yes,
the
obviously,
mystery. It's the
Yes.
mystery of life. And you find it all over the place. And it's very
then there is also William Blake also.
Mhm. You're muted, Lisa.
I like William Blake a lot.
Yeah, William Blake. Then Ernest Hemingway.
Yeah, all of them, the great writers, their view of the world is a metaphysical creation. And, so we don't have time in a human lifetime to learn everything, but it sure is fun, everything that we decide to try to learn. Okay,
Yes.
I think that
Okay.
that
Yes.
kind of ends the lesson for today. Looks like, I think I've enjoyed this. This has been fun.
Yeah, today's meeting was really fun, Professor, and I liked it.
Yeah. So let's tune into this week, becoming aware of how we're learning and what our sources are. You know, where are we getting the knowledge that we are gaining? Where's it coming from? Ultimately, of course, it's all coming from the universe, from source, from God, from Allah, from whatever you want to call universal mind, universal intelligence. But we learn from each other. And that's so important to realize, that we are for each other the expression of wholeness, of universal energy, of love. So with that, I have really enjoyed everybody's participation here. And I look forward to seeing you next week.